For 30 years, the Center for Nonprofit Management has stood as the premier resource for the Southern California nonprofit community. By providing assistance in a variety of areas, the center has supported thousands of organizations as they meet the needs of their communities. The Center for Nonprofit Management is a nonprofit organization that serves hundreds of nonprofits each month through trainings, organizational consultations and counseling, and support resources. For an organization the size of Civitas, program consultant Gigi Nang recommended seeking a fiscal sponsorship to avoid the filing fees, paperwork requirements, and legal issues associated with becoming a nonprofit organization. A fiscal sponsor is an existing nonprofit that allows a program to operate under their tax ID number, usually in exchange for a small percentage of the funds raised by the sponsored program. The best match between a sponsor and sponsoree is when the mission statements are aligned. The best fiscal sponsors are those that have been in existence as a nonprofit long enough that potential donors will be comfortable that their donations are going to an established organization. I looked for nonprofit organizations in California that have an emphasis on civics and civic education. Many of the organizations in the resulting searches were partisan organizations with a distinct stance that would not be appropriate matches for Civitas. It was with great excitement that I found the California Center for Civic Participation here in Sacramento. It has been a nonprofit for 35 years, so it has an established track record and has a nonpartisan stance regarding state politics. Since early in its history, the emphasis has been on supporting young people in learning about, responding to, and acting in the political process. Their focus is to inform and excite young people about participating in the democratic process. This would be a great match for Civitas. Although the CEO of the California Center was very supportive of the concept, he was not able to agree to a fiscal sponsorship at the time. Another nonprofit I identified is the Center for Civic Education in Southern California. The Center for Civic Education is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization based in California. The center's programs are implemented with the assistance of a network of public and private sector organizations and educational leaders in every state and congressional district in the country and in more than 80 other countries, many of which are emerging and advanced democracies. The center has its roots in its Interdisciplinary Committee on Civic Education, formed at the University of California, Los Angeles, in 1965 to develop more effective curricular programs in elementary and secondary civic education. In 1969, the center became affiliated with the State Bar of California. In 1981, the State Bar established the Center for Civic Education as an independent nonprofit organization that remains affiliated with the State Bar. Their response over the phone was supportive, but they were unable to get approval for another fiscal sponsorship at this time. Tides is a nonprofit that specializes in fiscal sponsorships, so while they do not have an aligned mission, they would have the ability of an established nonprofit. However, because they have so many nonprofit sponsorees, they take a lot of control of their projects to assure that they remain in compliance with their own nonprofit requirements. They also are used to providing more services, such as human resources, payroll, and insurance, that Civitas will not need. For these extra services and oversights, they charge a large percentage that other fiscal sponsors would, making Tides a suboptimal match for Civitas. While a fiscal sponsorship is a good match for Civitas' needs, it has been difficult to find a well-matched sponsor. So to conclude my senior project, I'm initiating the paperwork for a nonprofit organization. Board members have been elected in compliance with the current Civitas Advisory Board bylaws. The January board meeting's first agenda item is to review and approve, most likely with some edits, the bylaws, which must be revised to be in compliance with Secretary of State requirements for nonprofit organizations. The bylaws were last updated in 2000. I will file the nonprofit corporation paperwork with the Secretary of State, and will also submit paperwork for a tax identification number for the corporation. This process can take 6 to 9 months. My project will be complete once the paperwork is submitted to the IRS and the Secretary of State and the Civitas Advisory Board resumes monthly meetings.